In the dark corridors of Nazi Germany's legal system, one name remains etched in blood and fury: Roland Freisler. A man who didn't just enforce Adolf Hitler's laws, but actively reshaped justice into a brutal weapon of oppression. Known as Hitler's hanging judge, Freisler was no ordinary jurist. He transformed the courtroom into a theater of humiliation, where dissent was crushed, not by reason, but by rage. From the moment he rose to power to the day he died in a freak air raid, Freisler's legacy became one of mock trials, political murders, and legal perversions that reflected the worst excesses of the Nazi regime. Born on October 30th, 1893, in Celle, Germany, Roland Freisler was the son of an engineer and grew up in a middle-class household. He studied law and political science at the University of Kiel and Jena, graduating with a solid academic record. His early years offered no indication of the man he would become. Like many Germans of his generation, he fought in World War I, was captured by the Russians, and spent time in a POW camp in Siberia. It was here that Freisler developed a fascination with Marxism and Leninist ideology, ironically the very forces he would later label as treasonous under Nazism. After the war, Freisler returned to Germany a changed man. His legal career took off slowly, but his political ideology shifted dramatically to the right. By the early 1930s, he joined the National Socialist German Workers' Party and aligned himself with the legal wing of the Nazi movement. As the Nazis rose to power, Freisler quickly climbed the ranks, helped by his unshakable loyalty to Hitler and his willingness to sacrifice legal norms for ideological fanaticism. In 1933, following Hitler's appointment as Chancellor, Freisler became State Secretary in the Reich Ministry of Justice. His impact was immediate and chilling. Freisler helped draft laws that stripped Jews and political opponents of their rights, such as the Nuremberg Laws that institutionalized racial discrimination. His most infamous role came in the aftermath of the July 20, 1944 plot to assassinate Hitler. Known as Operation Valkyrie, this attempted coup involved high-ranking military officers, including Claus von Stauffenberg. When the plot failed, Freisler was tasked with trying the conspirators. These trials were broadcast as propaganda. The accused were paraded in humiliating fashion, stripped of uniforms, belts, and dignity. Freisler screamed at them like a madman, ridiculing their beliefs, heritage, and honor. He handed out death sentences within minutes. Many were executed by slow strangulation using piano wire, filmed for Hitler's private amusement. Freisler presided over nearly 5,000 cases, and it estimated that over 2,600 of them ended in death sentences. An astonishing number, considering Germany's legal history. He did not merely follow orders, enjoyed his power, thrived in his cruelty, and believed his role was sacred. He saw himself as the ideological shield of the Reich, defending Hitler's vision by eliminating anyone who questioned it. Even within the Nazi hierarchy, his behavior was extreme. Joseph Goebbels praised him, but others in the Justice Ministry found his theatrics troubling. Yet Freisler's reign came to a sudden and ironic end. On February 3, 1945, during an American bombing raid on Berlin, a bomb struck the People's Court building while he was in session. As he gathered case files to move them to safety, a blast threw him into a column. He had died instantly. His corpse later found beneath the rubble, clutching legal documents. The courtroom where he sentenced so many to death became his own grave. In a twist of fate, the accused on trial that day survived because the court session was interrupted. Freisler's death went mostly unremarked in Nazi media, as Germany was collapsing under Allied advance. After the war, Roland Freisler's legacy became a symbol of how law can be weaponized by authoritarian regimes. Unlike others in the Nazi system, who denied responsibility or claimed ignorance, Freisler stood front and center, the embodiment of Nazism's perversion of justice. He didn't just enforce injustice, he delivered it with pride. Historians have since examined his role in detail, not just for his cruelty, but for the deeper lesson it provides. When ideology takes over the judiciary, truth becomes irrelevant, and terror becomes law. Modern Germany does not commemorate Freisler. His name is a stain on the country's legal history. Law students learn of his tactics as warnings, not examples. His courtroom behavior is studied not to emulate, but to understand the psychological and systemic dangers of politicized justice. No monument bears his image, no plaque honors his name. But in remembering him, you're forced to confront a grim truth, that even those trained in law can become instruments of evil. If morality is discarded in favor of power, Freisler was not a monster in the traditional sense. He was a man in a suit with a gavel, showing the world how easy it is to turn justice into horror.